Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Welcome and thank you for watching another episode. This episode is themed around everyone sucks poo mode. Everyone sucks here stories, you know what I mean? And we have a couple good stories. I actually don't know if they're good or not, but the titles seem good, so we'll see. So let's just get straight into the first story. The first story is titled, Am I the Asshole for Telling My Sister Her Baby Isn't a Real Baby? I, 26 female, got engaged to my fiance on January 1st. I was very excited to share with my family, of course, and everyone congratulated me and my fiance. I sent a picture of my ring to my family group chat as well as my Instagram, and everyone has been commenting on the fact that I got a very big diamond. My diamond is a lab grown diamond that is just under 5 carats. I specifically asked for a lab diamond as I believe they're more ethical, as you never know if a mine diamond is a blood diamond. My sister, 31 female, was very excited for me, but as soon as I showed her my ring, her mood changed, and she was telling me that it was too flashy and that it's not practical and that it's too trendy and not timeless. My ring is a pear-shaped solitaire ring with a marquee band, and I love it. My sister then told me that there was no way that my fiance could afford my ring. True, if it was a mine diamond, it would be 10 times the price, and my fiance is a second-year resident, and that I should test to see if the diamond is real. I replied that since it's a lab diamond, it was a lot less expensive. She then proceeded to tell me how lab diamonds aren't real diamonds, and since they're made in a lab, it doesn't hold the same sentimental value. My sister's ring is a small 1 carat mined diamond, and it's beautiful. I never said anything bad about her ring, and it suits her. I tried to laugh it off, and I told her that I asked for a lab diamond and that I don't want a mined diamond. When I said that, she started yelling at me that it wasn't even a real diamond in the first place and that it was grown in a lab and not in the ground. That's when, said by her logic, my niece wasn't a real baby then because she was an IVF baby and grown in a lab too. My sister and her husband had a lot of issues conceiving as my sister had some complications with endometriosis. Their IVF journey was really tough, and they had multiple rounds and attempts and one miscarriage, but finally got lucky and had my very healthy niece last year. I know my sister had a hard time conceiving. That was kind of the point I was making. My sister started in a lab. My niece started in a lab, but she has a beautiful meaning behind her life too. When I made the comment that my niece wasn't a real baby because she was an IVF baby, my sister started crying over the phone. Her husband then called me and berated me and told me I was insensitive and couldn't understand the depths of her emotional turmoil and that I shouldn't have started a fight over a ring. Even said that I was ableist. I have endometriosis too. My mom says it's not a big deal, but I should let my sister cool off. I usually babysit my niece pretty often, but my sister hasn't been answering my calls for a week. My fiance says, although I probably shouldn't have said that, I was justified. I didn't mean it, seriously. I know my niece is a real baby and I adore her and I spoil her all of the time. Am I the asshole? Edit, I added a paragraph and fixed some grammatical errors. Also, to update, as of this morning, my sister has called me asking for a babysitter. I suspected that this would be why she called me, as I have been babysitting for free when no one else in our family or brother in law family will. She apologized that her husband called me and cussed me out. She didn't apologize for her comments. I apologized for what I said as it was insensitive, but explained to her that she misunderstood what I meant. And to everyone who is confused, I do not think IVF babies are not real babies. Obviously, I was so taken aback that some of you guys read my post and thought that. I said my sister's own logic. She thinks her baby isn't real because apparently things can't be real if they're grown in a lab to her. The point I was making was my diamond is real, just like her baby is real. I mean, okay, but like, yeah, I mean, to be like so defensive over a ring, just be like, I like it and it's my ring and can you shut up about it? I mean, okay, I do agree everyone sucks here in a way, but like I almost think that OP sucks more because to bring up something that IVF is so much. I get what she was saying in the comparison, being like, well, if you're saying that, then you're also saying that your baby isn't real. Okay, I understand that. But that was probably better left unsaid. I think that's something that you think and maybe you tell your husband later on, but you probably don't say that to your sister because IVF is such a struggle. And obviously, I haven't been through it myself, but I've seen a lot of videos and I've heard people talk about it that have gone through it. And I know that that journey takes so long. It's painful. It's a lot of work. Your body changes in so many ways. You're literally like giving yourself shots every single day. I mean, I can't imagine the toll that that takes on your body. And obviously, she was struggling heavily with infertility. So to bring that up is just so insensitive. And that kind of just, that gives me, they're sisters, so it's whatever. Like, sisters, obviously, they fight about crazy stuff and they call each other crazy names, and like it, then the next day they could be fine. So it's whatever. But I don't know. For me, it's like I think OP's a bigger asshole. I think obviously the sister starting that and saying that about the diamonds is stupid and annoying, but it didn't really warrant that big of a response. Okay, let's read some comments. Everyone sucks here. Sister is the asshole for being so transparently jealous, and you are absolutely the asshole for using your sister's conception issues to try and score points in a sibling argument. Oh, and your mom is also the asshole for thinking it's not a big deal. I feel sorry for your dad. I truly do. I mean, I'm sure they get in fights like this. This is like sister dynamic stuff. If it was a friend, it would definitely be a lot more like serious, I feel like. I still think it's serious, but you know what I mean? Sisters can they can say crazy shit to each other and then like 2 days later they're fine. Not the asshole. You didn't really tell your sister that her baby is not a real baby. You used the comparison as a way to show her how idiotic her arguments were, and you're right. It makes sense. It does make sense. Like I get the argument there. I really do. But then to just like to throw that in her face is just a little too it was going too far, which she clearly really wanted to win that argument. So, you know, whatever. She won. She did. Now the sister is literally so sad and upset thinking about all the shit that she went through doing IVF, but okay. The next title of the next story is Am I the asshole for telling the truth in the wedding toast? I'm a 30-year-old male and my best friend got married last week. I just bought a house and my wife is expecting our son in November, so I let him know I was limited in what I could contribute financially, but I did tell him I would try my best. So I went to the bachelor party in Maine, I rented the tux, and I paid for mine and my wife's dinner at the rehearsal dinner. I also had a gift of $300 that I was going to give them, but we will get to why I didn't give it to them. His now wife, then fiance, texted me multiple times a day with updates. Fine. I didn't always respond, and it got to the point where if I didn't respond at least once a day, I'd get a call from my buddy. I have a full-time job, and I'm redoing some rooms in my house, so I'm busy. She texted me for the following reasons. One, my wife was not allowed to talk about our pregnancy at all. She didn't want anyone to focus on that more than her, the bride. She was not going to order special food for my wife. No one asked her to. My wife was fine with whatever she was going to be served. 3. I was not helping the groom enough. He had to help with her favors, seating charts, and programs, so I had to help him with those things, according to her. She also said to get ready to help with thank you notes after the wedding. 4. She said if I was a true best man, I would offer to pay for the bar bill. I don't even know what that means. 5. She had to read and approve of my speech before the rehearsal dinner and wanted to be included as much as my buddy. She told me to make things up if I had to. I was also not allowed to include anyone but the two of them, and no inside jokes or stories about my buddy that didn't include her. 6. Her last text said to tell my wife to keep it together and not make pregnancy scenes during the wedding. Also, she wanted her to choose a dress that downplayed her pregnancy as much as possible. I was just so aggravated. I spoke to my friend to see if he could reason with her. He told me to just play ball on this one. It's her day and to cut him a break, because he'd be dealing with her nonsense for the rest of his life. I was annoyed but calmed down. The day of, all of the bride and my buddy do is scold me, berate me, and bark orders. I head down to the bar for a drink. The bride's mother is there and warns me not to get drunk because I've ruined her daughter's day enough. Final straw. I didn't give them the card with cash, and in this speech, I used my friend's exact wording about having to deal with her nonsense for the rest of his life. I wished them the best and told him I'd always be there for him, especially during the divorce. Am I the asshole? I mean, this girl is out of pocket for all the things that she said and suggested to him. So, like, to be honest, he kind of slayed. Ooh, I know that the consensus here is that everyone sucks, but like, dude, to come and say all these things especially mostly about my wife being pregnant and how she needs to make sure that no one knows that she's pregnant. She needs to wear this dress to make sure no one knows. She needs to not talk about her pregnancy. She needs to blah, 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 blah. Girl. And then also to be like, you need to include me in your speech, make things up if you can. She seems like a terror to deal with. So, like, I don't know. Sorry if that's my final straw. And I'm like feeling like I need to let some, anger out. I don't know. I do agree, like, yeah, it's kind of fucked up, but I don't know. Did you deserve it? You're an asshole. You're an asshole, girl. You're a huge asshole. And this guy is just, you know, playing the game. I don't know. Guys, please let me know. Because everyone's saying, like, everyone sucks here. Okay, let's read some comments. Everyone sucks here, but listen, you're my hero. Also, be aware that your friendship might be over, if not for any other reason than the new wifey will make it so. Yeah. See, that's how I feel. Everyone sucks, but like at the same time, you're kind of slaying. Someone said, from the title alone, I was prepared to think that you were the asshole. Through the Bridezilla bits, I was thinking, yikes, they're the asshole. And by the time I got to the end, I was affirm everyone sucks here. I don't blame you for not giving the card. They treated you horribly and did not deserve the generous gift you were prepared to give. But I think being honest in the speech took it too far. You would have been better off just cutting it super short. Words can't describe these two, so let's raise a glass. The end. I don't think your speech was too much because of how it impacted them, but because of their families. Maybe their families suck as much as them. They had to get their ridiculous entitlement somewhere. But I'd be horrified to witness a best man speech like you described if I were a guest at a wedding. Yeah, and everyone doesn't know like the context of it, obviously, but they know. They know what they did. You know? Someone said, everyone sucks here, and here's why. Number one, the groom knew he was marrying a piece of work, and instead of protecting his interests, he co signed, aided, and abetted his wife's atrocious behavior. Two, his wife sucks for trying to regulate your wife's body, for allowing her insecurities to cloud her judgment, and being the very definition of a bridezilla. Three, you, for not taking the high road and waiting until the very last minute to defend your wife's honor. That's true, that's true. He should have been like defending it during, but look, dude, you were totally justified, but you also had ample opportunity to jump off the crazy train before it got this far. Being a good friend means having the comfortability and latitude to say no when your friends are far off the rails. You waited until the last minute and let your emotions get the better of you. Your wife deserved better from these people and from you in this moment. Yeah, but like still, I kind of don't blame him that much for doing that. I kind of don't. Okay. The next title is, am I the asshole for telling my friend that I'm sorry her parents don't love her as much as mine love me? I, 22 female, have a friend named Amy, 22 female, who I met in college. Currently, we're in our last semester of college. I live alone, but she shares her apartment with two other people. We never really spoke about our finances much, but I know that both of our parents currently pay our rent. The issue started when we talked about our future plans. I told her that I'm probably going to get a job and do my master's at the same time so that I can save up a little, but also to finally have my own money to spend on some things that I love and to travel. She laughed at me and asked me what kind of salary I expect while working part time to be able to afford all of that. I shrugged and said I didn't have any expenses that I'd need to cover, really, just food and that's it. She looked shocked and asked me about rent and stuff, and I said my parents will be paying for it. She then went on a rant about becoming an adult, how she can't wait to be independent, how she doesn't want to take money from her parents, and stuff like that. For the most part, I tried to nod my head and listen to her. But then she said something like, I'd feel like a bad daughter if I were you. And that really made me feel embarrassed. My parents want to pay for my apartment. They can easily afford it, and I'm not the type of person to be ungrateful for it. I spend a lot of time with them. I know they don't lack money for anything. They travel, own their house, have a good retirement plan. They don't mind paying for me, and I don't mind taking it. We have a good relationship. I know this won't be forever, and I don't expect it to be. Just a few years until I finish my degree and get a higher paying job. I got annoyed and I told her to drop it. We can talk about something else, but she continued talking about her parents want her to be a real adult. How I'll never want to be ambitious unless I struggle, and just more and more nonsense. Not sure how important it is, but between the two of us, my grades are significantly better, and I'm a few exams ahead of her in terms of passing the semester. I just cut her off and said, well, I don't know. Maybe my parents love me more than yours love you, so they want to pay. I'm sorry for that. Can we talk about something else now? We didn't talk since, and I do feel bad because I know that love has nothing to do with money, and looking back, it's such a rude thing to say. But I just said it to shut her up because she was insulting me and calling me spoiled for no reason. I wasn't even the one to start this conversation, nor did I probe into her finances. She was the one who kept it going. Ever since that day, I feel a pit in my stomach, and I really didn't want to insult her. Info/edit. Just adding some stuff because I feel like it may be relevant. I feel like Amy's intention wasn't genuine because she currently accepts her parents paying rent, food, utilities, everything. So do I. The conversation was about after college. I mentioned my academic success because she said I will never be ambitious when I try really hard. We also don't live in the USA, and parents' support isn't so uncommon. And lastly, while this may not convince people, I really do appreciate my parents and everything they do for me. I don't plan to leech on them, and this is something they know, and that's what matters to me. I feel like I have personal experience with this kind of thing. Like sometimes, not to say that I've said that to someone before, but I feel like when I was younger, I definitely couldn't control my thoughts as much as I can now. I've learned over time that I need to just shut the fuck up because sometimes when someone's like berating me like that and attacking me like that, I'll feel the need to come back with something spineless and like terrible when I was younger and growing up and stuff. And like it wasn't even the fact that I felt the need to, it's just the fact that like I couldn't not say something crazy to them because like they were pissing me off so much, and I kept like coming back with something like, neutral and being like, "Hey, actually that's you're kind of bothering me. Like why are you keep saying that?" And then if they keep berating me, then I feel like my blood starts to boil, and then I just let out something like, "Your parents don't love you." So I can understand that because they're young. Obviously, like 22, you're an adult, you know what's right and wrong to say. Yes, I agree. But like at the same time, if you're older, even me, like I'm 26, I feel like I've grown a lot. And at that time, yeah, I definitely said some crazy stuff. When I was younger, yeah, I definitely said some crazy stuff. And my brain was not that developed. When I look back 4 years ago, I'm like, yeah, my brain wasn't that developed. I definitely grew a lot, even though I thought that I was super smart and I knew everything. And sometimes I would say things that I didn't mean and that I knew would hurt the person just because they were pissing me off so much and I wanted them to shut up. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I don't think that she should have said that. But what I'm trying to say is I can see why she did, because sometimes when like someone's coming at you so hard, you just feel like you need to say something crazy to like shut them up and to be like, "See, I told you." You know what I mean? But obviously, I don't think that was right, and that's very upsetting and sad. But I also don't think that the girl should have been berating her. Like, that's not even your business. You don't even need to worry about that. Does that suck to be the person to not be like, having to go and pay for everything? Yeah. So was she probably envious of her? Yeah, I'm sure, because I'm sure her parents are probably like, we'll pay for everything until you graduate and then you're on your own. You know what I mean? And then to see that, like, oh, this girl's parents aren't paying for everything. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. And then you just like make excuses and be like, it's very much that. It's giving envious, like, I'm actually jealous, but I'm gonna try to like take it out on you and try to pass judgment on you and say that you're not gonna be ambitious because of all this. Even though if my parents said that they would pay for everything still for the next couple years, I would also accept it. Because who wouldn't? Come on. Unless your parents are like dicks and they hold it over your head a lot. But like, if my parents were like, well, actually, no, because my parents are like, they're not. If they were rich and they could afford it and they offered, I would absolutely accept. But if they offered, like in the current situation, no, I wouldn't have when I was younger because they didn't have enough money, especially my mom. So I would have never accepted that just because I would feel too bad and I wouldn't want them to like pay for anything knowing that they didn't have enough money. But if they had more where that's coming from, I'd be like, sure, thanks. But yeah, definitely everyone sucks here for that. But like, I can obviously see why she was getting so angry and so worked up, and just her blood was boiling over. And then all of a sudden, it just came out because her friend wouldn't stop berating her about it. You know what I mean? I hate when people do that. But I've definitely learned, and I've gotten so, so, so much better about what I say and how I know that I can affect people, because obviously, like, I know that saying things like that, even if someone's coming at you, it doesn't make you feel better. It makes you feel better in the moment, but then like 20 minutes later you're like, damn, I shouldn't have said that. Like that was really mean. And I've had that happen like enough times to just like learn from that and be like, the way that I feel 20 minutes after I say something and like defend myself by coming at someone, I don't feel good. Like, I feel like shit after that, and I feel so bad, like a terrible person. So I want to avoid that feeling, and also avoid being so anxious knowing that I made someone feel like shit about something. But anyways, if you haven't already, press the subscribe button, the like button, and please comment. Let me know what you thought about these stories. Let me know if you think everyone sucks here or not, because I would love to know. I have all the links in my bio for anything you might need. I also have a Patreon now, so if you want extra content monthly, then you can subscribe. There's a $5 tier and a $10 tier. So I love you guys so much. I have to go because I'm starving. I haven't eaten. I got up and worked out at like 9:30 and then showered and got ready for this and immediately started filming so that I can have the rest of the day to watch the inauguration with my friend. And I'm starving and I need my coffee because I haven't had my coffee. Isn't that crazy? Please. But first, coffee. Just kidding. That's so funny. I love that. I love that millennial shit though. Okay. Anyways, I love you guys and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye.